Congressman Adam Schiff is a member of the January 6th investigation. He, of course, is also chair of the House Intelligence Committee, and he's standing by to talk with us now from the Capitol. Mr. Chairman, Congressman Schiff, thank you so much for being here tonight. I know this is a busy and a big night.
Well, it's good to be with you, and I thought it was a very powerful night. I think the chairman laid out the historical nature of what we went through that day, the unprecedented attempt to interfere with the transfer of power. And then I think the vice chair importantly wove together the narrative about these multifaceted efforts to overturn the election, the pressure on state legislatures and legislators, the pressure on the vice president, the continued pushing of these false claims of fraud, even when the president's own attorney general said they were BS, and how it led to that day. And then to hear Officer Edwards' testimony, I can't imagine a more powerful refutation of the lie that this was a normal tourist day, that this was legitimate political discourse. And so we did, I hope, show the country just a bit of the mountain of evidence that we have. And gave the country a sense of what lies ahead in our future hearings.
Congressman Schiff, there's a historical importance to this which defies both politics and party affiliation. This is also happening in a partisan and political environment. We, after all, are holding these hearings as part of a congressional investigation. That said, there was a provocative piece of evidence described tonight by Liz Cheney about unnamed Republican members of Congress. She said during her opening statement, Republican Congressman Scott Perry was involved in trying to get Jeffrey Clark appointed as Attorney General, which was described as an effort to try to get the Justice Department to use lies to put the weight of the department behind the effort to steal the election result for President Trump. She said Representative Perry has refused to testify here. As you will see, he contacted the White House in the weeks after January 6th to seek a presidential pardon. Multiple other Republican congressmen also sought presidential pardons for their roles in attempting to overturn the 2020 election. We have seen some things pointing at this in the past. I've never seen it put that bluntly before. Is the implication of this evidence that the committee has collected that members of Congress, Republican members of Congress, committed what they believe to be crimes in this plot and therefore sought pardons from the president before he left office?
Well, look, I think the fact that members of Congress were interested in trying to get a preemptive pardon for their role in the effort to overturn the election tells you a lot about their consciousness of guilt. If they thought that what they were doing was above board, then, of course, there would be no need for a pardon. And, you know, this is part of the reason we wanted these members to testify. It's probably part of the reason why they refused to testify. But nonetheless, it gives the public a sense of just the depth of information we've been able to accumulate, the scores of witnesses. You saw some of that deposition testimony tonight. The real challenge for our committee, frankly, is how do we choose what is most important to share with the public? And I think that what we will try to do is make available in these hearings as much as we can, and then provide in online resources for others a wealth of other material for you and other members of the press and public to scrutinize.
Congressman, is it clear to you and other members of the committee what the exact witness lineup will be for the 7 hearings that have been described? We heard Vice Chair Liz Cheney today describe the rough topics and rough areas of evidence that will be covered in each of the next 6 hearings that will happen during the month of June. Is it clear to you now, is it actually a settled matter who the live witnesses will be, or is some of that still under negotiation?
I think many of the witnesses, if not most of the witnesses, are already settled upon or arrived at. But there may be changes among the witnesses, new witnesses or others that are replaced. So I don't know that it's going to be static. We're continuing to learn new information, continuing to talk to new witnesses, and going back to some of the witnesses we've interviewed now that we have more information. So I don't want to say that it's fixed in place. But we certainly, I think, have lined up most of the witnesses in this set of hearings. Now, this may not be the last of the hearings as well.